What's going on, everybody? StogieFarts here. I'm gonna do something in this video that I haven't done in a long time. I'm actually gonna smoke a cigar while I tell you a little story, a little scary story, a true story about something supernatural that happened to me. But first, the cigar. By the way, it's a Monte Cristo that I had in my humidor for I don't know how long, years. I just felt like a cigar. Be quiet! Bailey, get her! So, I was just sitting in my house thinking about deep things. Be quiet! Bailey! Bailey, come here. Fucking dog. So I was just thinking about like things that have happened to me in the past and things that are supernatural. I've had a lot of supernatural things happen. Hold on one sec. Bailey! Get over here! Now, where was I? So this story takes place probably back, I must have been in my late teens, and it was at my grandparents' house. By this time, the only person that lived in that house was my grandmother. And I might have lived in there too. There was a period of time it was just me and my grandma. My grandpa had already died. He died in the house. My great-grandma had died in that same house. So it was just me and my grandma. And I remember I needed to go out into the garage. In the garage they had a refrigerator. And the refrigerator had extra stuff. It had, you know, I don't know, fucking hot dogs or ice cream, something. I don't know. I was going out there for something. I don't remember what it was for. But I remember it was nighttime. And I never liked going in the garage. It was dark. You had to go inside and walk down to the fridge and open it up. It was cluttered, and no one ever went in the garage. So I tiptoe into the garage. No, I go in the garage. I open the fridge. I'm getting whatever I'm getting out of the fridge. Actually, it was a freezer. I don't know why I said a fridge. It was a freezer. And I just remember being scared. And when I opened the freezer and I stopped and listened, because I felt, you ever feel like someone's watching you? You ever get that feeling of eyes staring at you? Well, I felt like that. I felt like something was watching me. So I froze. I froze up like a deer in headlights. I froze. And I listened. And all of a sudden, out of the darkness, over by my grandpa's old tool bench, I heard a whistle. And it went just like this. Did you hear that? That was me whistling. Sorry, I've had a couple beers, so I can't tell if you can hear me or not. Just like that. As clear as that, as distinct as that, I'm standing right there in front of the freezer, and out of the darkness, I hear, and I friggin' bolted. I closed the freezer, ran back through the garage door, slammed it shut, went inside, freaked out. Never went in the garage again a day in my life. Ever. So I didn't say anything, because I was just scared. I didn't say anything. I was just like, whatever, I just heard something in the garage. I ain't going back in the garage. But the funny thing is, it wasn't until afterward And I don't know when I told my mom, but it was obviously sometime afterward that I was relaying this story. And I said, you know, the funniest thing happened to me? I went out in the garage, I went to the freezer, out of the darkness, over by the workbench, the tool bench, I heard a... And when I told my mom that, her face like dropped. And I was like, why? What does that mean? And she's like, your grandpa used to do that all the time. He always used to whistle like that. Like, yoo-hoo. And I thought she was kidding. I thought she was pulling my leg. And I was like, no, he didn't. Did he really? She said, yes. He always used to go. And once she said that, I knew. Well, I mean, what are the odds? I didn't know that. So, like, how could I make that up? Like, what are the coincidences? What are the odds that I would hear the exact same thing that my grandpa used to whistle that I had no knowledge of? Like, it wasn't like I heard him whistle the Itsy Bitsy Spider song, because that wouldn't make any sense. If I said, hey, I heard a... Like, if I heard that and my mom said, well, that's weird, like, that wouldn't mean anything. Like, that would just be a weird thing. But for me to hear something and it just happened to be the same thing my grandpa used to apparently do that I didn't know about, that freaked me out. Plus, it happened over in his side of the garage where all his tools and stuff were. So, once she told me that, I was just like, ever since then, to this day, I honestly believe, like, well, I know I heard it, but I just have to conclude that my grandpa was there with me and he was making his presence known. So that's just like one of a bunch of things, paranormal things that have happened to me. Maybe one of these days I'll go into detail about some of the other stuff that has happened to me, but I'm not really ready to talk about yet on this large public forum of YouTube. But that one I wanted to share with you for some reason because it was one of my first, and I just thought it was very strange that the exact same tune that I heard was something that my mom verified was something my grandfather did that I had no knowledge of. So the odds of me hearing something that belonged to my grandfather, to me, was a little too coincidental, I should say. So is that proof of life after death? You be the judge. I don't think it's proof of life after death for you watching this video, because it's nothing that you know, it's not tangible for you. But for me, it's just one of those things where I was there and I can't explain it, because if it was something I knew my grandfather did, then you can make the argument, well, yeah, he was thinking of his grandfather used to do that, he thought he heard it, boom, their explanation complete. But I had no idea my grandfather used to do that whistle, that exact same thing. I had no idea. So for me to hear something, have no knowledge of it, and then have somebody else confirm it, that's a little weird. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. If you've had any weird stuff like that happen to you, leave a comment below. I know a lot of people who watch my videos, they go right to the comments and read them, they interact. So let's get a little interaction going. I'd love to hear your stories, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'm gonna finish this cigar, and we'll talk to you later.